Doug Wiley with Police Magazine. I'm here with Fish. Steve Fish.
Yeah.
I haven't called you Steve in years and years and years. Thank you for taking some time to talk about something I think that we all need to be talking about more and in greater detail, and that's passing respect down to younger officers and the notions that you talk about how to cultivate that culture of respect and ensure that the next generation, because that's what police trainers are all about, is ensuring that the next generation is better off than the generation that we're in, for example. So how do you instruct that at your PD, or how do you talk about it, here in the hallways that I lead it?
If you sit down and you talk to people, I'll tell you, I use a really good analogy. John Bostain did a presentation, and I sat in there, and there's a guy that was in there who was probably about 6'8", 300 pounds. And he used this guy, and he said, no, if he wanted to, he could gain control and be just disrespectful to anybody and probably get away with it because he's a big guy. There are very few people who probably want to do something to him. That person there doesn't see him as a police officer. They see that badge, that insignia, that whatever, it's a sense of power. And he said the next day that person deals with another officer who's half their size, probably 60% less weight. Doesn't see that officer comparison, but that respect that bigger officer showed that person, now that person takes it out on that smaller officer. So I tell my guys to say, you'll get a lot more work on the street and a lot more cooperation if you just show some respect. There's a big difference between respect and trusting someone.
Sure.
Where we work in Racine, Wisconsin, there's, you get some areas in there that are pretty hairy and stuff like that. And some of the people they're homeowners in there and they want to help clean up that area. You give a little bit of respect and you show that, they're going to give you a lot more information.
Right.
You get a lot of information. Sure, you got good investigators and stuff that do a great job, but they get their information from somebody.
Yeah.
And if you don't have respect and you show that to these newer guys, to say it makes your job a lot easier.
Right.
But not only that, sometimes right now we're getting a bad rap anyway. We're not
more than just sometimes.
Yeah. So it's easy to be disrespectful, but to show respect, I think is contagious. I have a 17-year-old son, and I remember he went to homecoming, and the girlies he went and opened her door for her. I teach my kids chivalry, man. I mean, respect women, respect your elders, everything. So he opens a door for her, and she said, Chris, I can get my own door. His mom turns around and looked at this. That's not how he was raised. So, if you teach these kids respect at a younger age and it carries over, I don't hear bad things about him or my daughter.
Right.
They respect people. And if we can teach that rather than, you got to cultivate that as they're young.
Yeah.
You can't teach that to older people. I truly don't believe that. I think once you get to a certain age, you can't teach respect.
Right. There was a great book called The Power of Unconditional Respect. And it kind of boils down to, you get more with honey than you do with vinegar.
Yeah.
And, in order to gain respect, you have to first give respect. So if you're interviewing a subject, or if you're interviewing a witness, if you're treating them like you would like to be treated, the golden rule, then you're more than likely, first off, going to get more out of the experience in terms of investigative, worth. You're going to have greater cooperation. You're going to have someone maybe comply with your orders as opposed to resist, whatever
Absolutely.
lawful commands you're giving them. So only good things come from when you use and have a foundation of respect for human beings generally. Okay, you don't have to respect what they did. You can have every animosity towards whatever violence or offense that person may have committed, but they're still human. And if you don't treat them as such, then you're not likely to get what you really want to get out of that interaction, right?
Yeah, and they're great. It was a movie, obviously, but Training Day at the end there, where Denzel Washington was there, and they gave Jake the courtesy to walk out. You go into a situation like that, think about that. You're outnumbered 50 to 1, 100 to 1.
Right.
How easy would it have been for that to go south?
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a matter of respect, but it was.
Yeah.
But I truly believe that. If you're out on a call and you get into an area where it's pretty hairy, if you showed respect in that area, there's a greater chance that you won't get You know, because think about it. If you get on the street in a down-out, drag-out, and there's a lot of people around, how easy would it be for more people to jump in?
Right, and you're not going to get a lot of help.
No, generally not. But you know, I truly believe that it's contagious, and a lot of the newer officers get that. I think they're starting to understand that. You see too many things on TV. You know, a lot of the stuff that's portrayed on TV really doesn't happen, obviously. But I think if you show that respect, you gain the respect. It makes your career a hell of a lot shorter
Yeah,
too.
I'm reminded of one more thing. A law enforcement lawyer, an attorney in California, Missy Olin, you might have met her. She says, I'm paraphrasing her, make a better movie of yourself, or make your best movie.
Yeah.
Because people are all holding their cell phones. And if the interaction you're having is one of respect and one of decency, and that videotape won't go viral. That videotape won't be used against you.
Yeah.
That videotape, it becomes you make the best version of your own movie, because you're the director and you're the star and you're the producer of your movie. And so it's just a matter of making that foundation better.
And look at it this way too with our sons. I mean, both of us do something that is really disrespectful and doesn't look good. I don't want my son to see it.
Right.
Do you? I mean,
Yeah.
I got to live up to what I taught my son. If I do something like that, my son's going to look at me and say, "Well, everything you taught me is a bunch of BS."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
and
you're
I want
a hypocrite. Yeah.
and I pass that down from my dad.
Yeah.
Passed it to me. Now I'm passing it down. That's so how we do things.
Yeah.
So I do it not only because it's the right thing to do, but I got to practice what I preach.
Yeah, and we talked about this earlier. It's leadership by example.
Absolutely.
Set the right example, and the other folks who are around you, not just below you or above or surrounding you, they're likely going to, mirror your example there. So I want to tell you, I appreciate very much all the instruction that you do, all of the times that we've had here.
Yeah.
Great friendship we've developed over the years. And again, thank you for taking a few minutes today.
Thank you.
Doug Wiley, Police Magazine.